I think eventually students are really adaptable, and it might be a little bit hard the first couple weeks, but I think slowly throughout the school year people will get used to it.
Tonight's big story breakdown is cell phones in schools. The governor signed the bill to no cell bills bell to bell into law earlier this year.
Yeah, it requires every school district across Oklahoma to implement a policy prohibiting the use of cell phones and other devices during the day. Fox 25's Wayne Stafford walks us through how our state's two biggest districts are dialing up the rules.
Phones can be a problem, and if you're trying to learn, it's just not going to happen. That's why the state implemented the bell-to-bell no cell policy. Tony Childers, general counsel with Oklahoma City Public Schools, tells me the goal isn't to restrict communication between families, but he did give me a breakdown of what is prohibited, and Tulsa Public Schools also making changes to their cell phone policy ahead of the new school year.
The law that was passed this last spring by our state legislature requires that every school in Oklahoma have a policy in place that prohibits the use of cell phones during the school day.
High school students last year had a little bit of a different policy where cell phones were available at certain times, certain non-instruction times during the day. So starting this school year, that'll feel a little bit different for our high school students.
We also spoke to an OKCPS student who tells us, of course, the ban is a bummer, but that it's also an opportunity to make more physical face-to-face connections and spark more conversations. Again, here's a reminder on the new cell phone policy. Here's what's not allowed to be used during school hours: cell phones, smartwatches, tablets, AirPods, and anything that can connect to the internet or connect to a smartphone. You can still bring these devices to school in the case of an emergency or for after-school hours. You just can't use them during school hours. We'll have more on our website. Back to you.
Middle Public Schools informed families in their district last month about their new Scroll Less, Learn More policy. It states students are not allowed to use personal electronic devices anywhere on school grounds during the school day. This includes from the first bell to the last bell, even during lunch and passing periods, unless they are off campus for open lunch. Here's a look at the consequences for each violation. For middle and high schoolers, if it's the first offense, they'll have to bring their device to the office and leave it there until the end of the day. If it's their second offense, they have to take it to the office and they'll receive 1 day of in-school restriction. The third offense would require a parent to pick up the device and the student would be suspended for a day. If there is a fourth offense, the student will be suspended for 2 days and be required to check in their device every day for the remainder of the year. We're also getting a look at the campaign that Norman Public Schools has launched to implement this new law.
It's called Power Down to Power Up, and Fox 25's Paige Taylor breaks down how it'll help everyone within the district understand and follow the new cell phone policy this school year.
The Oklahoma State Legislature passed Senate Bill 139 this year, which requires each school district in the state to implement a policy to prohibit the use of cell phones and other devices during the school day. The law went into effect July 1st, but Norman Public Schools started preparing for this new law long before it took effect.
We started having conversations very early on in January with different stakeholder groups, from parents to community members to our teachers.
NPS's policy requires students' phones to be put away from the first bell of the day to the last, including passing periods and lunch. However, there are exceptions.
Emergencies is one of those. So if there was an asthma attack or an allergic reaction, that would meet the exemption policy, or an exemption under a policy, and then also medical needs. And so we know through 504 plans, IEP plans, or our medical plans, students may have glucose monitoring that they have to do during their through their device.
There are consequences set in place for students who have their phone out when they're not supposed to. The district will be utilizing Yonder pouches when necessary. These are lockable pouches designed to hold phones.
It's embedded into our enforcement, so students will be redirected the initial time that they're caught using the phone, and then at that point any other infractions would involve them being checked out of pouch.
Change can bring challenge, and Dr. Stephanie Williams says partnership will be key.
Change will be a little bit different for everybody, but if we're all on the same page and we're all consistent, we know that it's what's best and right for kids.
Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
Texas schools also be required to implement cell phone bans during the upcoming school year. Governor Greg Abbott held a ceremony last week to sign the state's phone-free classroom bill into law. The legislation, similar to Oklahoma's, bans students from using personal communication devices during the school day. But in Texas, each district's policy must ban personal devices on school property or provide a designated storage area for devices during school hours. According to Abbott, the change will ensure Texas students are able to succeed in school.
If we're going to be number one, it's going to require the undivided attention of our students in the classroom. Right now, the way that classrooms operate, the attention of our students is taken in a lot of different directions, in part because of the cell phone in their hand, in their pocket, in their purse, or whatever the case may be.
Abbott believes this will also help address students' mental and personal health by giving them a break from their phones and social media apps. Oklahoma and Texas, 2 of 14 states with active laws or executive orders banning or restricting cell phone use in schools. You can see this includes South Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana, New York, and Nevada. Florida also on the list and was the first to pass a statewide law to initiate changes in elementary and middle schools in 2023. Arkansas, Pennsylvania, and Delaware have pilot or grant programs to limit phone usage in schools. All 3 have implemented plans to provide lockable cell phone pouches students can use during instructional hours. Now, the states in yellow, California, Oregon, Washington, Kansas, and Connecticut have guidelines on phone usage. However, nearly half the country does not have a policy in place. And that was your big story breakdown. Excuse me. You can learn more about the bell-to-bell no-cell policies on OKCFox.com.
And plus, you can check out our previous big story breakdowns on education issues in Oklahoma on our YouTube channel. Scan the QR code on your screen or search OKC Fox.